Firstly, we need to decide what topics we're going after. That happens in the hub and spoke. If you don't know what a hub and spoke is, you can just search it up. It's by HubSpot. It breaks up your content into different silos. So firstly, we build that, and that's usually done through the auditing process where we extract your competitors' keywords, we extract their best keywords, their best blogs, and then we start to analyze which ones we should go after based on will this impact the business, as well as the ones that we can go after based on authority. If it's too competitive, we won't really be able to rank for it. We prefer going after lower competitive ones, which have a lot of volume. Once we have this in place, it goes to our client. The client approves the topics and prioritizes them in terms of which ones they want to see come out first. Once that's done, our SEO lead will basically take that topic. The first thing that we do is we put into Google and we see what other competitors are ranking for it. We'll look at probably the first 3 to 5, even sometimes the first 10 results to see what kind of page we actually need to build. This includes the types of headings. So we'll actually go through each one of these blogs. We'll look at what headings they have, what title they have, what keywords they're mentioning, what keyword density that's on the page. We'll look at different subtopic. How are they structuring it? Are there lists? Are there infographics? Are there images? So we'll try to extract this from the top result that's in Google within the country that they're trying to rank for, the United States or Canada, etc. Once that's done, that gives a good idea as to what the page could look like. Now what we do is we take those pages that we analyze and we'll put them into a search tool like Ahrefs or Semrush. When we'll start assessing only the keywords on those specific pages. So we'll basically pull out the entire list of keywords that a specific page is ranking for for all the comparators that we looked at, and we'll put that into a list and we'll start doing a little bit more auditing. We'll look at what are the ones that are most relevant, what are the ones that have the highest volume, what are the ones that have the lowest keyword difficulty, and then we'll get a good idea as to what our primary and secondary keywords are going to be from that list. Now, once these two things are done, what we're going to start to do is we actually build out a document where we give the client the title that we want to go with. This will obviously have the direct keywords that we're trying to rank for. We'll give them the URL that we would prefer, which is short and to the point and has the keywords we want to rank for. We'll give them a meta description or a couple examples of meta descriptions that they can go for. We'll give them the word count as to how many words they need to write. We will also include a link to either phrase or surfer. That's actually the third part of the process, which I might have left out, which is basically once we're done with creating the list, we'll take the keyword, we'll go into a tool called phrase or surfer SEO, and we'll put in the term there. And then once again, we'll do the entire process again. We'll look at all the secondary keywords, all the primary keywords, how many times it needs to be used, and we'll get an understanding from that as well. Now, jumping back to the content brief, we'll include a link in there for the content writer to write, whether it's one of our writers or whether that's one of the client's writers. We'll include that link for the writer to write their content in, and that way it will tell them exactly how many keywords they need to use, how many times you need to use specific keywords. Underneath that, we will start getting into the more heading sections. We'll talk about the different headings we want to see within the article based on competitive research, because I've tried to do this with phrase and surfer SEO. I don't think they do an amazing job. It's better when it's done manually. So we'll manually go in and we'll basically extract the best headings that we want featured in there. Once that's done, underneath that, we'll put references to all the companies that we looked at or all the different pages we looked at in terms of doing our analysis. Underneath that, what we'll do is, and this is the last section, we put the internal links that they should have. So obviously, if we've been working with a company, we know what type of blogs already exist, what kind of pages already exist, what is the purpose of writing this blog. And from that perspective, we'll tell the client or the writer to interlink to these specific pages when they do write their content. Apart from that, in other briefs, what we might also include is why we're writing this content. So this is coming directly from the person creating the brief. It's normally not the writer who creates this brief because it's more SEO work. The SEO lead will probably write a short blurb about why are we writing this blog? What's the purpose? It's a middle funnel blog. We're trying to hit this intent and we're trying to interlink it to this page because that's our conversion page. So they'll write something like this to kind of just inform the writer about the nuance of writing the blog. And then also sometimes what we have are writer guidelines. The client might have writer guidelines, which includes tone of voice, specific descriptions about their company, specific terms not to use to describe their company. So these are all included within that writer guidelines. And yeah, that's basically the process. Then it gets handed off to the writer. The writer writes it, comes back to us, we review it. Then it goes to the client reviews it, and then we publish.